do not want to answer your professional, respectful emails, but you want to crash on me at a meeting.
Please have a seat.
Otherwise, why? What's your name? Are you a council member? Are you a council member? Are these my questions? What's your name? Are you a council member? Are they my questions? What's your name? Council I smell alcohol on your breath, bitch. What are you, drunk? What are you, drunk? What are you, drunk? Get out of my face, bitch. There's Clark Brown pervert. Vicky Dennison. Sexual predators on you. Non-profits. You don't want to be confused. You don't want to let
All right, everyone.
the stakeholders speak respectfully.
Stand.
So
I'm
now
asking
deal
you
with
to
it.
stand. Please sit. Everyone.
I'm not
Let's
your
come to
dog.
order.
Shut
Let's
the
come to
fuck
order.
up.
Everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Okay. Folks, as obviously, as I repeatedly said, time is the one thing we can't make more of, and tonight we have a huge agenda. And of course, we're starting a little bit late. We're 20 minutes over what we can do, even if we stick to time. And because our permit to use the space came through, we need to adjourn tonight at 9:45 on the nose so that we can be out of here at 10, right at 10 o'clock. In light of all that, I really want to encourage everyone to be brief and succinct, to stick to the topic. I want to encourage calling the question when further debate might be unnecessary. And if we're over time, we're going to have to limit board members to their time. We are using the same system as before, with public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker at 1 minute intervals. No, not just yet. One thing. Funny. A reminder to everyone about our new voting process. These are one-word votes. Yes, no, or abstain. Please, no speaking votes, just that. Points of order don't confer the floor. When you make one, I expect you to cite a specific rule and a specific problem. Please don't use points of order to gain the floor and make other motions. Finally, as I made clear at the AdCom meeting, there were several open procedural questions. First, about the motion to rescind the 305 Rose decision. Under Robert's rules, that motion requires either a 2/3 vote or a simple majority, depending on a notice question. As I promised I would, I researched the issue, and it's a bit of a close call, but I do think that the proper decision is to find a combination of the AdCom discussion, even though it was not an actual meeting of the full board, plus inclusion on the written agenda is sufficient notice, and thus it's my determination that only a simple majority is required for rescission. There was also an open question as to whether, pursuant to the special voting rules in effect for item 3B, which is motion 7826 VNC, whether Lisa Redmond was eligible to vote. After additional research, I believe she is entitled to vote on the matter, and so she'll be included, Timo, when we do that vote roll. Finally, pursuant to guidance from the city attorney, item 5A4B, which is 8426 VNC, which is 128 Hurricane Street, is being pulled from the calendar, as I said, on advice of the city. That's Roman 5, subdivision A,
Jason.
Here.
Jim. Here. Joseph.
Here.
Kenya.
Here.
Lisa.
Here.
Nico. Here. Richard.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Ted.
Here.
Yolanda.
Present.
Fran.
Here.
Everyone's
Okay. All right.
Ray Lawson and Brendan Lawson are out.
Saray Lawson, the record will correct that Saray Lawson and Brendan Lawson are not present. Okay. Moving forward, we have declaration of ex parte communications, conflict of interest, and or refusals, as we indicated before, and as our current practice, those are generally filed in advance, so unless something has happened in the last 72 hours, I'm looking around, I don't see anything. There are ex parte communications and conflicts.
A lot more. We should see a lot more here, but okay, I'll go.
I've had some conversation with you, David, about the plum hearing and you trying to put it on me that I was thwarting representation in some way. We've had text exchange. You've also texted me about.
Sarah, how's this a conflict of interest? Or
This is ex parte. You are texting me outside of the scope.
it doesn't have to, it's not inter-board communication, it's not.
It is inter-board communication. It was about board business pertaining.
No, it's Sarah, respectfully, it's not. So if you've had ex parte communications with stakeholders on matters of this that you need to disclose, go ahead. Board conversations are not.
It's not what it states.
Sarah, I'm telling you what the rule is, so I'm asking you, if you have that.
Can you say it for me, please?
Yeah. Ex parte communications is designed to talk about whether you have had conversations outside the board with relevant stakeholders or, for example, petitioners, etc., that were not disclosed. You can do that. Those are supposed to be disclosed, as you know, the rule is that they're supposed to be disclosed 72 hours in advance of the meeting, and only stuff that happened recently is supposed to be taking up time in the morning. So,
That's never how we've done it.
okay, that is how it is. That's the ruling. If anybody has an actual ex parte communication, a conflict of interest, or a recusal to talk about, I'm happy to recognize. Anyone else? Hello.
I'm just confused.
Okay.
So I can talk to any board member I want?
No, you're subject to the Brown Act, obviously.
Well, then that would be that as I have been contacted, I think the whole board has been contacted regarding 305 roads.
Yep.
I thought about it as part of that. And the public is allowed to have one.
Again, guys, getting emails from stakeholders doesn't need to be disclosed, particularly when they're CC'd to the entire board. Erica, do you have something?
Yeah, I've talked to communities about different things that are going on the agenda.
Okay. We're gonna move on to approval of the prior meeting minutes. The motion is that the neighborhood council approves the minutes of its June regular meeting. Is there any public, I should note that, thank you, that motion is on the floor. I should note that there are also, were posted the minutes of the regular board meeting on May 25th, and I believe the special meeting on May 31st. We can do those, we can do those as well. But first, let's take a quick public comment in case there's anybody who has an issue with the minutes on the regular June board meeting. Anything? Okay, if you have a point of order, what's the rule and what's the problem?
The rule is the bylaw, number 8, that clearly states regular VNC board meetings shall be held at least every 2 months and may be held more frequently as determined by the board. Prior to any action by the board, there shall be a period of public comment. The board shall determine the length of time and format of the public comment period as appropriate. It does not say that the president or chair sets a different time.
Okay.
So I believe that this means, unless the board takes an action to change the way public comment is, it needs to remain the way it was, which is a minute or whatever. I'm not
It's 1 minute. The rule as noticed is, and we talked about this, we've gotten guidance from John, you heard it. It is perfectly, you can impose reasonable time limit and restrictions. We're limiting them to 5 minutes total per person. We're limiting them to 5 minutes total per speaker. Okay. Okay, we'll take that up another, Eric, we'll take that. We're gonna take that up another, we can take that up another.
Use the microphone.
Can we have the microphones? Can we have the microphones on, please?
We're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the approval of the prior minutes. I'm asking if there's any public comment on the question of the prior minutes. Seeing none, we're going, yes, the motion is on the floor, the motion is on the floor. I assume given the thing so far, that is there unanimous consent for the approval of the prior minutes? Anyone? Is there any objection to the approval of the prior minutes of June 3rd? Okay, Lisa's objecting, so go ahead. Is there more comment, first of all? Sorry. Did you have a comment? Sure, go ahead.
I was going to comment about the last meeting. It seems like people.
This is the, go on to the microphone, feel free to go on to the microphone. You can use go ahead and use your minute.
I'm not using my minute.
Well, that's how this works. You have a total of 5 minutes, you can speak on up to 5 things.
And you seem to be running the whole thing, so why don't you run the whole thing without everybody? It seems like no one else can.
Sir, you have,
What do you want to say?
we are open to hearing from you. You have a total of 5 minutes. If you want to use one of those minutes now to talk about the minutes, that's fine. You're welcome to do so. Go ahead, just come up, tell us your name, and tell us what the issue with the prior minutes of the June meeting.
My name is Steve Geller. My name is Steve Geller. My name is Steve Geller. I'm one of the owners of 252 Hampton Drive. We're about 15 feet away from the church project. I'm really disturbed how last meeting went. It seemed like the proposal got voted down, that we were in favor of not going forward with it, and it seems like 3 days or 4 days or 5 days before, you, Mr. President, decided that the vote was not right, and you changed your mind, and the vote was changed completely. It seems that there were 3, 4, 5 members who'd like to comment, but you said, no, there's no comment, this is the way the board is running. It doesn't seem like this is a board. It seems like you are running the show, and it seems like these people here serve no purpose at all. You should just be here and make the decision for the group, okay? The only thing that I have to say is this church project is going to create a real problem with parking. It is in a residential area.
Okay, I'm just going to remind you and the rest of the folks that the goal here is to talk about the item that's on the agenda. In this case, it's just it's the approval of prior minutes. If you feel that the minutes don't accurately reflect the content of the meeting, that would be an appropriate comment. We're going to address 3 of 5 rows.
Point of information, sir. You can speak about the minutes, and you can speak to the fact that you felt like the minutes were not recorded correctly.
Sarah, you need to be recognized. Please don't just yell out point of information. Wait to be recognized by the chair. Go ahead. I'm just explaining. Go ahead.
You told me to come up here and comment and you guys had so many minutes. My minutes were going to be dedicated to the project. If you don't want me to talk about the project, then I'll sit down and wait for you to call me.
I have no problem with you talking about the project. I fully expect that you will again when it's on the agenda. This is about the approval. This is about the approval of the prior minutes from the June board.
Okay, I disapprove of it because the vote meant nothing, because you changed your mind 3 days before, not giving us any time to go after the votes that someone said are not legal.
Thank you so much. Is there any other public comment on the question of the approval of the June board? All right, seeing that, let's move to board comment. Is there any board comment? Sarah, go ahead. Okay, thank you very much. Go on.
Mr. President, I would just like to ask you and the person in this neighborhood council, please hold control of this meeting. Thank you.
All right. Not seeing seeing any further board comment, let's move to a vote. Since we cannot get unanimous consent, let's move to a vote on the question of approval of the prior.
Gary. Yes. Helen.
I'm sorry, I'm abstaining.
Mark. Yes. Erica. Natalie.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Kenya.
Sure.
Lisa.
No.
Nico. Richard.
Yes.
Sarah.
Nope.
Ted. Yes. Yolanda.
Yes.
Fran. And you're abstaining. Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Moving on, now we have some wonderful presentations from both our elected representatives, officials, and from, we're going to start with LA 28. Michael, come on up.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Manavar. I'm the Director of Community Relations at LA28. We are the organizing committee that is planning and delivering the Olympic Paralympic We have some exciting sports that are all going to, especially all of our road courses, the marathon, triathlon, etc. are all going to be starting right here in Venice. The first medal will be awarded in Venice. We're just under 2 years out from opening ceremony on July 14th. A lot of great progress that we've been making that we're excited to share with folks. A volunteer application, everything is available on our website. The volunteer application just launched. We encourage people to consider volunteering. There's several other ways that we are interested in collaborating with this neighborhood council and with anyone else that's interested. So wanted to keep it brief and short today, just to say that we're here, we're ready, we're growing, a lot of people, things that we're working on. I'm happy to talk with anyone separately in the interest of time for it. So this meeting can proceed. Last thing that I want to note is that my manager, Eric Aldridge, came by a month or two or so ago, introduced himself. And so I've been supporting our community relations and community engagement efforts all throughout Southern California. Very excitingly, we just brought on Max Grayson. He's going to show a little bit about himself. He's going to be a dedicated person for Venice moving forward. So I'm happy to share my contact information and collaborate with anyone and share more. But you have a dedicated person here now. We'll figure out how we're going to really attend these meetings. That's just what I wanted to share, and on the next show a little bit about myself.
Thank you. My name is Max Bracey, as Mike had mentioned. I am the community engagement lead for the coastal region here. Very new to LA28 as yesterday was my first day. However, I'm not new to the coastal region. I grew up in Santa Monica. Very familiar with Venice and Santa Monica areas, and I serve currently on the board for Field of Bay, also a former employee of Field of Bay, so very familiar with the environmental conservation initiatives here on the coast, and excited for the work with you all to bring the games to life here in Venice.
Mr. President, can we ask some questions real
Yeah,
quick?
we have board questions at the end, Yolanda. We have 5 minutes scheduled at the very end of the agenda. Thank you. And please, again, please just raise your hand. I'll try to see you out. Where's Janet? There's Janet. Come on up. Janet from Congressman Ted Lieu's office.
Good evening. Best wishes from Congressman Ted Lieu. He's introduced 2 bills that I wanted to quickly tell you about. One is called the 21st Century Federal Writers Project Act, and he felt that in honor of the 250th anniversary of the country, it would be appropriate to establish a coordinated national effort to chronicle the full breadth of American life across the 50 states and 6 territories. So this is like similar to a New Deal bill way back when, where they would hire writers in each of the states to chronicle life in each state and to have a record of it. This is not only will it support writers and journalists, many who've lost their jobs, but it will memorialize what it means to be American in all the different states. So it was one nice bill, and I know we have a lot of writers in the Venice area. And the other one, really quickly, he introduced is called Tyler's Law. This is not the case at UCLA and Cedars, but some hospitals, if you go in with an overdose, they actually do not necessarily test for fentanyl. And so this was brought to light to him and Representative Sidney Comar. And so they've introduced a bill that would create a study for HSH to check with hospitals and see what their protocols are. Obviously, because with fentanyl deaths are becoming way too common. So, always happy to hear from you guys. Always, our doors always open if you have any issue with a federal agency. And I hope I was quick. Oh, 10 seconds left.
That was good. Thank you so much. I thought it was that. But there it is. I'm looking right now. Exactly what you supervisor for that board.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Zachary Geiser from LA County Supervisor Liz Horvath. I'm going to go quickly because I know you got a lot to do. So, today the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors unanimously voted to support California Attorney General Rob Bonta's legal challenge for the proposed Paramount Global Warner Brothers Discovery merger. The county authorized legal support, including the possibility of filing an amicus brief or providing declarations, and will share its economic analysis with the Attorney General and other states challenging the deal. The decision follows a federal court's temporary restraining order that has paused the merger while the case proceeds. Based on county economic analysis initiated in March 2026, found that the merger could put nearly 2,500 jobs in the Los Angeles area at risk. The board also directed county council to report back within 60 days on additional legal options to protect the local film and television industry and its workforce. Also in supporting local businesses, Supervisor Horvath introduced new initiatives to help restaurants across Los Angeles County. The proposal focuses on reducing unnecessary permitting hurdles, streamlining county processes, and connecting restaurant owners with technical assistance and available resources. The goal is to make it easier for restaurants to open, operate, and recover while supporting one of the county's largest employment sectors. And finally, the county continues implementing Measure G, the voter-approved government reform initiative championed by Supervisor Horvath. Recent actions include the establishment of Los Angeles County's first independent ethics commission, a major accountability measure intended to increase transparency, strengthen public trust, and provide independent oversight that broader governance reforms continue to roll out. And that is it from the county. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was good. I appreciate it. And I see Sean in the back. Sean, you're up. Sean from Stacy. Sean Silver.
Good evening. Thank you once again for the chance to address you. I hear brevity is the order of the day. I'll do my best. So right now, I want to start off by saying it's currently council recess. So unlike our board of supervisor colleagues, we have this period of recess where our legislative actions are paused. That actually ends soon on Monday, August 3rd. So our city hall team will be back hard charging. But right now, we are all catching up and making sure that we have dotted our I's, crossed our T's for the summer. In terms of planning, I want to say I'm aware of the upcoming community plan update ad hoc committee meeting that's happening. We're going to monitor that. I've had some conversations with community members about those concerns. While we have a lot of our representatives here, we usually have federal, we usually have city. I'd like to make a call out for your state representatives, considering that they make the lion's share of these laws that are impacting land use, and then leave the local entities to deal with the aftermath. Maybe something, if this is a podium or a pulpit, I can't tell, but I recommend that you have state and local representatives to come and maybe have that conversation with you. But we will be open and ready for any conversations about land use, which is increasingly a state-run affair. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the budget in the new fiscal year. Unfortunately, our budget continues to be not great at the city level, so we're continuing to, as an office, go back a little bit in terms of supporting community events. 15-20% reduction across the board. Our homelessness and housing team is seeing a reduction in the kind of operations that we can do, which is a frequent concern for our community here in Venice. But we used to have operations Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're scaling those down a bit. There are a few other impacts as well, but I'm happy to say that fortunately your team is still here and we advocated for you in that respect. When it comes to city work, city projects, etc., you can still reach out to us, and we're still working with everything that we have. Some quick notes, the local volunteer neighborhood oversight committee meeting 3 that was postponed last time for, I believe, some noticing issues is happening this Thursday night at Oakwood Park. Unless you notice any others, please let me know now. But we are having that meeting.
I thought it was Wednesday. Wednesday, not Thursday?
The 23rd, is that Thursday? Thursday, July 23rd, I believe, but let's double check everything. We don't want this meeting not to happen, we want it to happen so we can get the Venice Neighborhood Center back into the community. We're looking forward to supporting some of our community events as we go into the end of summer. We do have our very own Rebel Gas Fest coming up. I want to give a special call out to that for your 5th anniversary. We're very excited to be supporting you. And since PD I don't think is here, I do want to cover one other quick change as the summer comes to an end. The PD deployment, particularly the beach detail, that does see an increase of officers during the summer months. As we get into September, you'll see those loaning officers go back to their own divisions. We'll see our beach detail shrink again. So we're still monitoring all those quality of life concerns. Anything that happens on the beach is still a concern. Happy to always connect you. Sergeant Douglas is the officer in charge for the beach detail, but please feel free to continue reaching out to us. Just want to give you that heads up. In terms of some other events, this weekend we're supporting Girls School, which is a skate event that brings girls and women into the surfing and skating space. We're happy to work with them for, I think, the 4th year in a row. We're also working with the Venice Heritage Museum on an event. It is a music/talk event for Jesse Ed Davis, who is a noted folk rock star from the 60s, 70s, who actually spent his last years here in Venice. We're proud to be working with VHM on that. Our 4th last Thursday concert, so that is the free concert at Dudley at the last Thursday of every month. That will be happening, our 4th and final concert this Thursday, next Thursday rather, the 30th. The African American Historic Places LA workshop that's happening for Oakwood in partnership with Collective Unbound, the Planning Department's Office of Historic Resources, and of course the Getty. They are having their 2nd workshop. The first one was I want to say it was earlier this month or last month, but the next one is August 1st. All these flyers that I'm holding up, when I'm holding them up, are also available to the public in the back, and I'll be giving a copy to the board. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, National Night Out is again August 4th in Playa Vista. So come on out. National Night Out celebrates our law enforcement and helps give a conduit to our law enforcement of all types. So we definitely want to see you there, even though it's not always in Venice. We're happy to be hosting it across the district. And I did have a section for early 28th, but I think they said it best themselves. So we thank them for their partnership. Obviously, coordination is ongoing. 2027, I think, will start to be a year where you see a lot more happening in that regard, and then 2028, obviously. But we have a good connection with them, so happy to leave it to them as long as they're here, and happy to take your questions.
Sure, thanks, John. We're going to do board questions at the end of the presentation, so just give us one quick second. Thank you. I think next is Venice Beach Back to School. Tyrone Nance is here. No, actually, stay here, Sean, because I did invite LAPD also, but I don't see them here. So we've got 5 minutes for board questions. Go ahead. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm totally wrong. We also have Erica. We also have our very own representative, Erica, who has a couple of announcements. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, as mentioned, my name is Erica Mtg. I'm the neighborhood department. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. As mentioned, my name is Erica Mtg. I'm the neighborhood department advocate that supports the Venice Neighborhood Council as well as 10 other neighborhood councils, primarily in the West LA area. I do have a handful of announcements, so I will run through these, although I don't anticipate you will remember everything I said, which is why I sent you an email right before this meeting, so please take a look at that. The first one is going to be the Joy P. Atkinson Excellent Awards. This is formerly known as the Empower LA Awards, so this is just a reminder, if the board would like to identify any efforts that you made, CISs, MPGs, events, that you would like highlighted, please consider submitting a nomination to the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners. The form is very short. The deadline is going to be at the end of this month. Second is the City Planning 101 Roundabout. If you have any interest in learning more about zoning, historic districts, how to create those, landmarks, our department is teaming up with the City Planning Department to host a Roundabout this Thursday at 12 p.m., which is virtual. You have that registration link in your email. Next is, I just want to recognize a few of our board members that were able to attend the 2027 election information sessions. They were very much engaged, asking questions and learning about this upcoming elections involving, what do these hybrid elections look like? How do we submit a candidate filing form? And just a lot of technical questions that go along with the elections. So if you missed that, but you have any interest, we do have an upcoming session that is virtual, going to be Wednesday, July 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. Next, I have Neighborhood Council web pages. Our department is undergoing a website transition, so this means that the VNC web page on our Empower website, we expect delays, and so if you happen to have taken a training that you don't see on the website, it can very much be outdated. Feel free to let me know, and as always, you're always able to download that certificate of completion in case there's any question about your training. Moving on, a few more here. The NC new funding training, as we all know, given with the new funding policy and guidelines, everyone on the board is required to take the new funding quiz that is going to be mandated starting August 31st. So please, if you do not have taken that training, please take that training as it will impact your ability to vote on this board. And then the next one, I just wanted to take the time to announce that as the chair of the meeting, David is allowed to give 3 warnings. So I would ask that everyone in our audience today, please abide by public comment time, etc. If you are disruptive during this meeting, at the 3rd warning, you can be asked to leave. So please take that into consideration as we move forward. And then lastly, I just want to make a personal announcement. My husband and I are expecting a baby boy in October. Thank you. So this just means, in the next couple of months, your support might look a little bit different in terms of it's not going to be me. We'll have someone else in my place. As soon as I learn more details about who this might be, I will be sure to share that with the board. But wanted to give you all a heads up. So, and with that, I'll give it to my little lady.
Hi. Well, thank you, Erica. I just wanted to say good evening and hello. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. I've been out for a couple of days, so many of you may have emails that you sent me, and I haven't responded to this. FYI, responses are coming on the way, or reviews of those emails are coming on the way. With the last news that Erica shared, I'll have more information and updates to provide David and the rest of the board. Obviously, it's temporary. Erica's not going anywhere. And if you have any elections information, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, Erica and Fran. It was nice seeing you outside of this meeting.
Thank you guys so much. We still have a couple minutes. For board questions. If you have any for the city officials, just let us know who, and we'll bring them up. Erica, go ahead.
Hi, I've got a couple of quick questions. One was for the LA 2018. Are you going to have outreach materials for me to have at my tablings that I'm doing out in the community, just to start sharing info about what's going on?
Sure will. I can, I'll send you an email, and I'll send it to David as well, and anyone else that's interested. We have a bunch of printouts and flyers, QR codes, volunteer, sign up here, and all those things. I'll send that to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And then for Janet, I need cards. I've always left out of your cards. So if you can give me more, that'd be great.
It was the same question. Just wanted the contact.
You want to send David, have the,
Yeah, I have the contact information. Happy to share it. We have another question.
Okay, also, I have a quick question, for, Sean, I can talk to you offline, let's see. Okay, well, I'll just talk to you offline, it's about this, I don't know.
Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is for the CD11 representative, Sean.
Yes.
Sean, one, can you address
briefly, the water main break, and while I know you mentioned there's no money over here all about aging infrastructure, I'd like to know what the council member is doing to prevent. We know we have aging infrastructure, what are we doing to prevent West Hollywood water main break? And the second thing is, I'd like to know the council's response to the feedback of how unhappy many stakeholders were about the fan zone and the free event that failed to materialize and the public beach being wrapped up for a big event.
Okay, so with the DWP infrastructure, we were very glad that nothing had happened in Venice. There were actually 3 different water issues all on Saturday, which was great because I spent all day Saturday here. The first one was in the canal at Eastern Court, and it was actually on private property, so DWP simply turned off the leak. The second one was in the alley between Grand Boulevard and Venice Way, and that one was DWP. Unfortunately, a private property's garage and subterranean storage and office were flooded, so that was clearly a problem. I spent most of my time talking to that owner and just making sure they had DWP claims form, etc. And then the third one was on Lincoln, and it was relatively minor as well. It's a bigger pipe, but it was also easier to get to. It wasn't directly impacting residents. So yes. So there were 3 recently, which of course does not sound great, especially when you have Sunset. And I was thinking to myself, okay, that one's West Hollywood, so at least it's not the city of Los Angeles that's dealing with this, but it turns out it was DWP anyway, so, you know, when it rains, it pours. When we are talking about aging infrastructure, a lot of this is what is DWP's long-term plans. Many people here might not know that DWP is a different type of department than the other ones. From a funding perspective, in the sense that they're a proprietary department, they make their budget from ratepayers, that's all of us, including me, and not through the general fund. So they actually don't have some of the same budget squeeze. Neither does LA World Airports LAWA, nor POLA, Port of Los Angeles. Those 2 are the other 2 proprietary. Because they have more money, they do regularly invest in ahead of time maintenance. There's a project on Abbott Kinney actually that's currently happening. It's between July and September. Some of you have probably seen some of that work. They do try when they're able to replace pipe. Last year they did one right behind Venice High School on Zanja and like Walgrove. So they're trying to do that, but they also maintain their own schedule. So when we talk about some of that maintenance, obviously we focus more on the departments that we have the budgetary oversight for than DWP. But DWP, I think, should speak for itself because they have a lot of calculations that go into what they're repairing and when. And a lot of times they're focusing on the oldest pipes we have in the city, which are clay, which is very unfortunate that we have clay pipes where we do. And then the fan zone. So the fan zone was an event that we helped put on. It was something that a private organizer actually took on. It's sort of a complicated thing, but essentially the LA Sports and Entertainment Commission adopted a franchise model. So they essentially said, we are the go-between as the host committee between FIFA and whoever puts on the event. So what we did is we were in the middle trying to make sure that they were following all the city requirements. That is a litany of departments. So it's Rec and Parks, BSS, DOT, LAPD, LAFD, LADDS, Rec and Parks, and probably others that are slipping my mind right now. But some of the questions that you're asking are more relevantly asked to the organizers, I would say, because all we did was kind of lead them to these departments and say, this is your procedure. I don't know that I can answer specifically what happened with the fan zone on the street, although I do know that LAPD did make some modifications to what they were allowed to do in terms of viewing screens that changed their plans. So I know that there was some coordination because we were definitely helping them. We were checking with them to make sure that they were all right, but I don't have a lot of the details of what the conversation happened between departments and them, I should say.
Terrific. Go ahead, Sarah, and then Yolanda, and then Nico, and then Gary. And let's try to be relatively succinct. That's all right. Thank you.
Hey, hello. I just wanted to see if we have gotten any follow-up to our elders and to the African American community regarding that promised conversation regarding the incident that occurred in Oakwood on Juneteenth. I'm hopeful that we can still have that dialogue. It is really, really important, and I don't think too much time should pass before that happens.
Yeah, we agree with you. So we did have some private conversations with a few people, and we've also followed up with LAPD. We're now scheduling that follow-up. So, you know, I think it was, maybe 3 weeks since we last, 2 weeks since we last met with LAPD. So they have advised that they have their kind of idea of how it happened. We met with them and we heard from them actually because we wanted to be sure that we understood what they were saying. And then we advised them that we were going to be following up the schedule. So we're currently finding time for the councilwoman, finding time again with Dr. Nightingale and her immediate team. And I think that would include you and whoever was there, Erica, if you wanted to join that kind of conversation. we're trying to figure out a time that works for all parties, because obviously everyone's very busy.
And I just want to thank you immensely for all of your support that day, for your support to the community. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Sean.
Happy to help.
Hi, Sean. I just want to touch 3 issues, but first of all, I want to thank the office for the job that they are really doing in this community. That's the pavement of the streets. We just had lines paved on Abbey Kinney, which we needed very immediately. And also the urgency in which things are taken care of, especially when on Venice we had lights that were cut off because of the RVs parked on the north side of Venice. But I want to get to the water issue and the breakage that's happening. It's happening all over, and I got a notice the other day in which we will be responsible if any breakage comes from the street to our property and we need to get feed water, we will be responsible for that charge. I just want clarification if we're going to be held responsible for it, and how are we going to be responsible for it. Number 2, another thing, I was present. I want to thank you also for the event that we had during FIFA. I was present for the 72 FIFA events also, and I have never in my life seen such a presentation the way we welcome people to the city. It was just extraordinary, and the amount of tourism that we had. As a matter of fact, I just had dinner over here on at the White Grave, and they were just so happy to have the greatness of to the restaurants. But number 3, there are things I want to find out, how is it that we can get on CPAP? It's very important to me. I was on CPAP on Holland Police Department, because I see a different view of things that are going on and what's happening, and I want to make sure if I can have the recommendation of your office for me to get on CPAP. I was a member of the Holland Police Department, and that's the Holland Police Department was looking through the police advisory.
You asked me to control the meeting, and ask you, please answer the question.
Okay, so that's a question. How can we get on CPAP? And I want the recommendation from Tracy's Parks office to get on CPAP.
I will answer you very briefly on all 3 points if that's okay. So point 1, I think you asked about the DWP thing. You'd have to show me the notice. Like I said, DWP is fairly independent, and their responsibility ends at the meter. But I can tell you from my own experience that sometimes when there are private property leaks or something like that, they still work with you through a certain division. I can help you with that because I dealt with that in my own house. Part 2, thanks for the note. Again, we're taking all feedback on the FIFA zone, but we, the same way we can't take full discredit, we cannot take full credit. The zone was put together by independent organizers, but I'm glad to hear that you have heard a positive thing from the business. And then number 3, CPAP is technically an advisory committee to the police department. I would send your request in directly to Sergeant Brian Cook if you want to be considered for Pacific CPAP since he manages it. I'm happy to help you make that connection. And of course, we value having more people on CPAP in Venice because we right now have, I think, only 3.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Sort of, Bill, I really need to move on so everybody has a chance to say. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Zach. Is Zach still here?
You should be on.
Hey. I'll start while you're walking up here. Just a question about the supervisor's opposition to the mergers, the studio mergers. I'm curious why she feels that these mergers will force jobs out, and why she's instead working to, work towards guarantees of minimum spending for jobs, and working with Sacramento to work on tax breaks and things like that. Things that actually will protect jobs. I don't really see how this is
So I haven't looked at the analysis myself, so I need to circle back with you on that specific position. But one of the things that we did back in March was specifically ask for a detailed economic analysis of what would happen if this merger did move forward, and that's where I got those numbers that I quoted you, eliminating 2,500 jobs in LA.
What job are those?
I'd have to pull it up to get to the specifics. I'm happy to send you the full report that goes into all the details.
on here?
When I was in college, we were like 80%. I'd love to know if there's been any studies that not just having increased, but how we're moving back toward where I think our rightful place is.
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm happy to get some more information about it. We've established relatively recently the LA County Office of Film and Television that actually goes into that and deals with a lot of the filming permits and stuff from the LA County perspective, so that it exists beforehand. So I know that there's a lot more efforts and coordination that's happening that wasn't happening before. So I'm happy to send some more information, and I can send it to David so it can just be sent to the sheriff report, so everybody can look at it.
That'd be great, thank you. And then Sean, there's an honorable mention.
Terrific, thanks, Jeff. All right, that's going to conclude board comment, board questions. Sure.
This was from Mayor Lou. I wanted to know if, I just want to acknowledge the changes of our page on Empower's website, because I did notice the changes, and there's a whole section missing, the whole movement section is now missing. And there's a few corrections that I will submit them in, but I was under the impression we submitted to a specific email address, not you guys. Is that correct or not correct?
That is correct. You can submit, I would say always copy Erica,
Of course.
at least, and myself. You can submit changes to rosters.
That's what I have, okay.
Okay.
Just want to make sure, and can you address the bylaw that I was mentioning earlier that just seemed to sort of get it thrown away? I don't know. It's bylaw number 9, and it states clearly that the board sets the public comment time frame.
I've
Because it's
noted
impacting
it.
this meeting right now.
I've noted it. Oh, we'll do some follow-up. It's not on the agenda, so I don't want to.
But he's changed it.
No, this item, this discussion is not on the agenda, so I will follow up with you. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, that concludes that. We're going to move on to item 3, part 3, which is new business part 1, and it will be discussion and possible action on 7726 VNC through 7926 VNC. The first matter is the stakeholder petition to amend the standing rules of the Venice Neighborhood Council. That motion is on the floor. Is there a second? There's Gary Pearl. Yes, Helen, what's the rule and what's the problem? What?
My point of order is that, can you use the microphone, please?
Helen, use the mic, please.
The point of order I'm raising is that the standing, that your motion is to amend the standing rules and also include new standing rules, and I believe there has to be 2 separate motions, and amending the standing rules should require a motion to amend previously adopted standing rules.
No, we're going to address, that's out of order. We're going to address the stakeholder petition as written. I should note, by the way, that we're going to take comment on the entire thing as it's written as a single item. Okay, so we're going to go into, so Helen, please, one second, please don't interrupt.
Well, I'm appealing your ruling. I believe you're incorrect in your ruling.
You're entitled to appeal the
If it's on the
chair.
board, if it's on the board, it belongs to the board.
Helen, you're entitled to appeal the decision of the chair, that's what we're going to do. I understand that. There has been an appeal of the ruling of the chair. To reverse, Helen has made an argument that this is out, that the stakeholder petition is out of order. A yes vote is to, is there a second to that? All right. Erica has seconded the appeal to the chair. A yes vote is to overturn my ruling, to sustain the appeal. A no vote is to sustain my ruling. Let me do that one more time. A yes vote overturns this, in which case this motion would be deemed out of order. A no vote sustains my ruling, in which case we will proceed to consider this stakeholder motion. Okay. Is there any public comment specifically on this? Ian? Specifically on the point of order.
I've already made your point of order. You have, you're trying to amend standing rules that were previously adopted by the board, also and to create new standing rules. These are different items. The way the chair has decided to handle this, rather than going through these one at a time and having separate votes, but doing these things en masse is, I think, counterproductive and problematic. And certainly it would not be consultative of the body if everyone has 1 minute to try and address 15 points.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nothing else, is there any board comment on this item?
Yes.
On the point, this is on the point of order, not on the substance of the motion, just on the point of order. Liz, did you have something?
I have a comment on every one of these subjects.
I understand, but right now what's before us is an appeal of the rule of the chair. A yes vote, like I said, a yes vote overturns this, in which case it would be deemed improper and we would not consider this. A no vote means that we would in fact consider the stakeholder petition and it would sustain my ruling as that. Okay, so Liz, if you want to address the point of order.
What's being voted on?
Okay, everyone, quiet, please. Helen has raised a point of order arguing that this cannot be considered because of the way it's written. I have ruled that out of order. Helen has appealed my ruling.
Cannot be considered because of the way it is written?
That is Helen's argument. Yes.
She's wrong.
Okay. Stop. Everyone, stop. All right. Everyone understand what we're voting on? Let's go ahead. Once again, a yes vote. Kalani, you have if you wish to speak to the.
I do support sustaining, opposing the chair's motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Okay. Let's go ahead. Janet.
Could the nice person who owns the white Honda Civic 89K H777 please move so I can get out? White Honda Civic.
I'm appealing to the owner of the. Thank you, Janice. Sorry. We appreciate the moment. Okay. Once again, a yes vote means that my ruling is overturned and we will not consider this. A no vote means that my ruling is sustained and we will. Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry.
Sorry, I thought there was there more?
I had to raise my hand, but
Jason, by all means, board comment, you can use the microphone if there's additional board comment, we'll take it.
It's not really, it's a point of clarification.
Sure.
The reasoning, I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind why it proposed it. I don't understand, I'm not being.
No, Helen, you can answer that. You made the point, you made the approach.
I'm trying to understand the reasoning why it should not go forward.
Because one section amends existing standing rules, and the motion I made was that be heard separately, and then the new standing rules would be a separate issue. What David is proposing is that everything is taken all at once. I believe the Robert rule says you cannot amend existing standing rules without making a motion that you're amending previously adopted standing rules.
Number one, I want to clarify one thing. I'm not ruling anything. We received a stakeholder petition. It went directly on the agenda as written, as proposed. This has nothing to do with me. When we get stakeholder petitions, they go on as written. That's number one. I will simply say, as I am entitled to, that is not my understanding of the rule, which is why I moved the way I did. Okay. Is there any other board comment? What? Go ahead. Ted and then Eric.
How many signatures in this petition yet? How many stakeholder signatures?
80. It was 80. But Erica, go ahead. Oh, can we get a decent mic here?
Okay, one clarifying question is, who exactly is the stakeholder that's bringing this forward? That's the first question. The second one, well, it's customary to have the stakeholder's name, just like we would, if we're bringing something forward as a board member, we would put our name. That's number one. Number two would be, we received a letter from a stakeholder who signed a petition who says it's removed. Their name is not removed.
That is that's out of order. Number one, I ask you again, confine your comments to the question that's here, okay? It was abundantly clear, it was said out loud at that time where you were there. Deborah Keaton was the person who submitted.
I honestly did not do that, that's why I'm asking.
Okay, can I just all right, if there's no more comment, we're gonna move to a vote. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I have an issue with this whole thing because I think this motion.
Speak up.
I'm confused about why this is a motion. Why this is a motion against the chair's decision in the first place. That's not what it is.
Okay, wait, stop. Everyone, stop. Helen made a point of order. I ruled the point of order. She validly appealed my decision. What we're going to do now is vote on the appeal of the rule of the chair for the last time, unless anybody has anything else to say. A yes vote says that I was wrong, and we will not consider this. A no vote says that I was right, and we will go on to discuss and consider. Okay. With that, Tima, please.
Gary.
I vote. No sustains my decision. They're always weird, I'm sorry. I vote no. Helen?
Yes.
Mark?
No.
Erica?
Yes.
Allie?
No.
Clark?
No.
Jason?
No.
Jim?
No.
Joseph?
No.
Kenya?
No.
Lisa?
Yes.
Nico?
Yes.
Richard?
No.
Sarah?
Yes.
Ted?
No.
Yolanda?
No.
Fran? Fran is ineligible to vote today, unfortunately. There was an issue with the ethics training lapsing. We were advised immediately before the meeting that Fran is ineligible to vote. I will just say, use that as a reminder to please all keep your ethics stuff up to date, because I'm sure it was a surprise. Anyway, I believe my ruling is sustained, and we will now move on to public comment. I have Gabriel on the motion. Wait, you don't have, nobody has the floor. No one's has the floor, unless there's a point of order. That's what we're doing. Sarah, what's the rule and what's the problem?
Point of order. You've not been called.
She has a point. Hold on, everyone. If you are raising a valid point of order, what is the rule? What is the problem? Please, go ahead. Point of order is a presidential motion.
I would like, you can quote the rule. I would like to move.
No, Sarah. You cannot, wait, hold on.
I recognize, I reclaim my time.
No, Sarah.
I move
No.
table.
No, listen to me. You cannot, under Robert, yes.
You just recognized me and cut me off.
Sarah, hold on. A point of order against the floor to raise an objection to a rule. It does not confer, I will read you the rule. It does not confer the floor to make motions. It just doesn't. That's out of order. Please, guys, I understand you want to make procedural objections. We're going to do this correctly.
So we're not allowed to make motions?
Not right now, no. You cannot use the floor, you cannot use a point of order to command the floor to make a motion. You just can't. It's out of order. If you persist, look, guys, if you guys persist in this, I don't want to start warning people.
Why would you warn me when you recognized me and I was in the middle of speaking and you cut me off? I can turn my mic off if you're telling me my time is up, but you don't get to warn me when I'm recognized.
Sarah, I recognize you raise a point of order. I expected that that's what you would do. I'm simply calling, I'm quietly explaining, you cannot use a point of order to raise a motion. That's not how it works. Okay, with that, we are moving to public comment, which I'm sure there is a great deal. I do have something from, anybody who wants to comment on this issue, if you haven't sent us, grab the speaker card, please bring it up to let us know. If you need to raise your hand or whatever, you can do that. Ian, I saw you. Do you want to just start us off? I know you got something, so by all means, please.
So, first off, this isn't really a stakeholder motion, this is Yolanda's motion, but she apparently is working with others on the board. This was to go around, first off, this is something that the AdCom committee rejected from a Zoom meeting, because of course, this would be ridiculous to handle in a Zoom meeting. There's way too many items on here, even in a normal meeting. This should be broken down, item by item, individual votes. This whole up or down, all the changes at once is ridiculous, and it's, basically these are a power grab that came out of the elections committee, or rules and elections at some point, and was deferred until an actual board meeting. Instead, Yolanda went around and got signatures, lying to people about what they were signing. There was one page that had, and I had some description at the top. I don't know if anyone read it, because they were doing this at a birthday party. All the other pages just have signatures. So people don't know what they're signing. It's not an appropriate petition. It's not an appropriate way to behave. It's not an appropriate way to bring these things to the board.
Thank you.
I object to this entire farce.
Thank you. I think I have something on 3A from Gabriel, Christina. I'm also going to note, everyone, that I am going to, to the best of my ability, bounce back and forth if I can between proponents and opponents. That's what I'm supposed to do, and I'll do my best. Gabriel, go ahead.
Thank you. Gabriel Ruspini. I encourage the board to adopt the stakeholder petition to amend the standing rules of the neighborhood council, especially as it pertains to standing rule 14 and the consent calendar items. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Liz, I know you have something. Why don't you come on? Yes, please. Liz, do you want to bring it here? Hold on.
I'll give it to her.
Yes, thank you.
I don't want her to get up.
No, please do. This is Liz Wright. Thank you all.
I'm Liz Wright. I put in a speaker card for almost every one of these suckers. Okay? Because there is something to be said about every one of them. And the first thing to be said is they must be voted independently. They must be. Do you want to hear my whole list, or do you want?
No, you have your time. Go ahead. Whatever you like. However you want to.
Okay, on number 1, that is amending Standing Rule 6, why don't you just get rid of it? Because it's already covered. Okay, item 2. A whole bunch of things to assist Dunn. Has Dunn made a complaint? We're not here to solve Dunn's problems. Unless Dunn says, this is the way I want you to operate. Scrap that one. Number 3. The consent calendar. And I have had a discussion with David on this. We disagree significantly. A consent calendar consists of items that have no issues.
Yeah.
If anyone says, I have an issue with this item,
Can't be on
the
consent.
item should be pulled.
Exactly.
If there is a decision not to pull the item, that is a usurpation of authority. Because it just violates the whole concept of consent calendar. On the, how many?
Your time's pretty much up. If you want to just finish up, if you have one more thing to finish. I said your time's up. I'm sorry.
Oh, I missed my time allotted for the 11 things?
Yeah.
Only got 1 minute to talk about
You have something else, go ahead.
It should be 1 vote.
I understand, but that's not actually.
It has to be.
All right, thank you, Liz. I have Steve Bradbury and I Steve Clark.
For number 38.
Go ahead. Just finish
There are
your thought.
at least 20 weekdays a month. There are enough days. scheduling separate days for each committee.
Okay, thank you so much, Liz. I see Steve Bradbury and, Kalani, you're there, so why don't you go ahead?
I agree with everything that Liz just said. This is just too broad, and if it's this important, we should be tackling, excuse my acid reflux has kicked in this evening, so the raspy voice, I guess I sound like, what was her name? Betty Davis eyes. Anyway, these items are too important and should be debated point by point. For transparency of the public, for those of us who attend these meetings regularly, to still be confused by the mass sweep of it all. Imagine if the general public was just showing up and what they're having to ruffle through. In the age of transparency, I urge you to rethink and follow what Liz said, and itemize each deduction, each item, so that the public can feel comfortable with what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalani. Steve, come on.
It's good to be sitting out there instead of. I'm not going to take a position on each individual one. I'm simply going to say the relevance of the VNC is kind of at the maybe not at all level, paper line level, something like that. If you don't like the way things are, if you want to change them, these motions are an opportunity to change them. But the thing you can't do is you can't abstain. Abstain is bullshit. Either vote yes or vote no, but don't abstain because you're afraid of hurting someone's feelings, you want to try to get along. Take a position and vote on it. If you like the way things are, you don't need changes to any rule. If you don't like the way things are, vote to change, but don't abstain. It's an insult to your fellow board members, and it's an insult to everybody in this room and the entire community not to take a position.
Thank you, Steve. I will say one. Robin, I believe you put in a vote as well. And then is there anyone else? I think this may be the last part, so I just want to say to everyone out there. Okay, great.
Robin Rubisell. I support all of these standing rule amendments, which also includes the new rules, as they will help meetings run better and hopefully reduce unacceptable conduct. In particular, what is being proposed for consent is almost identical to how the California Coastal Commission handles consent. They require 3 out of 12 to remove an item from consent, and this proposed amendment is 6 out of 21, and that seems very reasonable. Experience tells us if we don't do something like this, one person will be able to pull all consent items and battleship the meeting, and that has to stop. Thank you. Please support these in the whole.
Thank you so much. Do you want to speak on this? Terrific. Oh, and we have Deborah. Go ahead. Ian, hold on just a second. Deborah, go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Like I said, I apologize. I'm really happy I'm not on the committee anymore. The committee has become a paper tiger. You guys are not getting the business of the community done. Meetings devolve into just petty arguments about not even motions, just rules and, petty little things, and nothing ever gets finished. I've sat in these meetings on Zoom and here in the audience, and it's really frustrating for me, and I would imagine it's extremely frustrating for community members who come to try and get some business done to support their community and their homes and their children and their schools. And you guys are really accomplishing practically nothing. I mean, the most effective committee is probably the Arbor Committee, and that's really sad. So, I mean, I just think that you've got to try something else. Simplify things. That's what this is intended to do, is to simplify things. So I know you guys want to get caught up in the minutia, but that's not why you're here.
Thank you so much. I also, hold on. Please come on up. Thanks so much. Nice to see you.
Good afternoon.
is based on a lack of trust. So I'm gonna ask a rhetorical question in that this list is so extensive as we're asking for our council members to vote. Has everybody read and understand all of these standing rules? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. Okay. Seeing no further public comment, we're going to go to the, in alternate pleasure of board comment. Hold on.
That's point of order.
Okay, hold on, sorry. What is the rule and what is the problem?
The rule is the Brown Act, and per the Brown Act, we have been told multiple times from emails from Dunn and by our city attorney at our retreat that if the agenda states that public comment is for 25 minutes, we must leave public comment open for 25 minutes. We only had it open for 10 minutes.
I don't believe that we have to sit here for the balance of 15 minutes.
Could we hear from our Dunn representative on that?
No.
Because no, we can, because we were sent.
Lisa, you just interrupted me. I'm going to warn you. I just said, no, we're not going to sit here in silence. If I violate the Brown Act, there is a process for that. You bring a grievance, you bring a complaint, that's fine. Everybody is entirely welcome to do that. I'm not seeing any further stuff. Jason, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. I don't believe that's the case, and my intention is not to sit in silence for 20 minutes. So we're going to move on to work. Okay. Yeah, Jason.
At this point, am I able to move to?
Yes, you now have the floor. You might want to be.
I would like to move that we bifurcate the standing rules from the new ones, and that we discuss each of these red line ones separately.
Okay. There's a motion. Hold on. Jason has suggested that we.
Good emotion.
My suggestion is that we bifurcate or separate the new rules that are being asked from the standing rules that are being changed in red line, and then we hear each of the red line ones separately and vote on them separately.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. All right. What? Oh, I heard it. What? I think Eric was seconded it. Or there's time. Okay. All right. Mika. Jason, do you want to accept a threat? Well, we're going to do this we're going to do it the way we're supposed to do it. All right. This is fine. You made a motion. It's totally appropriate. All right. At this point, folks, there's a motion. There's a motion on the floor, essentially to split the standing rules, the amended standing rules from the new standing rules, and to consider each amended standing rules separately. So, that's been seconded. Ellen, you have the floor, please. What we do now, public comment on that, board comment on that, then we're going to vote on the amendment, then we're going to vote on the amendment, and then we'll come back to it. Okay? I believe, Jason, please track me, make sure that I have this correct. The motion is to bifurcate the amended rules from the new rules, and to consider each of the amended rules individually.
That is correct.
Okay. I heard amended rules. He said amended rules.
Oh my God.
So, hold on, guys, everybody, please. All right, all right. So we're going to open up public comment on the question of whether or not we should bifurcate these and then consider. So in other words, Jason, what we would do is consider 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the tranche of the new rules, which is 1 through 6, 7. So we do 1 through 6, the new rules as a group, and we would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Okay, so everybody understands. All right, is there any public comment on this? All right, I absolutely see Ian and Liz. You know what, Ian, could you give me a moment, because Liz has the microphone and she's seated. like to be courteous to her. Go ahead, Liz.
The new rules should also be considered independent, not just the amended standing rules. It is very important.
Jason, do you want to take a friendly amendment since Nico's made clear that he would like that as well?
I actually would have preferred that in the first place. It's a lot of separate, but
That's going to be a lot. It's going to be voted around. I suspect this is all we'll do tonight, but so be it. Okay. I'm not angry at all. This is your right. This is your right. Okay, everyone. So let me make clear exactly what's going on. There's a second. Yes. Okay. Everyone, there is a motion on the floor that we will consider each of these things individually. All right. Liz, did you have more? Did you have more that you wanted to say? I feel like I cut you off. Concerning the question of whether we should consider all of them individually, I think your point, you've made yourself clear. Okay, good, thank you. All right, Ian, I believe you have too, and I will just warn everybody, since this is going to be a whole lot, that public comments limited to 5 minutes per person.
So that is now on the floor.
That is now on the floor. Right, one at a time. Go ahead, Ian.
That's a decision that the board has to make. The chair does not have the power to decide who speaks and when, how many times, but that's already been raised and you overruled it or overridden it. I would point out that Jason's motion is well taken. These are important decisions that should be looked at individually, not jammed through in a seizure of power. The chancellor does not need to be empowered any more than he has been. This is ridiculous, all of it. But the fact is, if you can at least look at them individually, then you might be able to amend them or consider them, give them due consideration rather than just jamming through what one person or several people in a coven have decided needs to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Here.
I am so disappointed sometimes with this board. We take time out to let you guys in to represent us and come bring our issues before you, and then you're very rude. You don't want to hear it if you don't like it, And with the community, you're supposed to be representing us. We're the stakeholders. We're coming to you, telling you what we need and we want. And then for one person to say this, that, and no, and you can't speak and you're overriding and don't talk to anybody, I'm sick of it. The rules, you're supposed to be professional, act accordingly. Then you wonder why people get upset and don't want to come. I'm so disappointed in this board. And I'm one of the original Venice Neighborhood City Council members. And I'm disappointed. Get it together. Stop looking and telling everybody what they can't do this over talking and overriding each other. You